Welcome to our next episode of our podcast. You've got Jackie Geip here, my co-host, Chris Loisel, and we've got Laura McCarthy here today
Laura.
For our next interview. So to get things started, Laura, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like 3 fun facts, maybe where you grew up, kind of whatever you want to talk about.
Oh boy, I grew up actually a little bit north of Grand Rapids on a farm, so I have lots of fun farm stories if people like boring farm stories.
We're going to have to ask about that.
So I like to travel. I lived in Florida for a couple years and taught down there, and then I came back to Michigan because I missed winter so much.
Are you crazy? Or
Yes.
just nuts?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
to both.
Where were you in Florida?
I taught outside of Orlando, and the traffic was so bad that I
Yes.
moved. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Really?
You could never go do anything fun because traffic was so bad.
Yep.
By the time you got there after work, it was time to go home.
Yep.
And then I taught just outside of West Palm Beach in a little town called Jupiter,
And
which
that
was
was-
like heaven.
Yes. I've been there.
Yes.
That's nice. Very nice.
Anybody who loves golf knows all about that area. It's like PGA Boulevard and really nice destination. If you're looking for a Florida vacation, I highly recommend Jupiter. Lots of sea turtles.
Sea turtles? Wow.
Juno Beach is right there, and they're like sea turtle capital of the world or something crazy like that.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. And why exactly did you come back to Michigan?
Something about marrying the love of my life. I don't know.
Oh, the love of your life.
Yeah, I know.
Love can
And he doesn't
really
love
wreck
the
you.
beach, so
What?
Oh.
I know.
Are you
I'm shocked.
He's a little crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of beaches in Michigan, though, too. But he doesn't want to go to those.
He likes
either.
those beaches.
Oh, he does. He
Yes.
likes Michigan beaches. He doesn't like sharks. That's the problem.
He doesn't like hot, sandy places, too many deployments to Iraq, Afghanistan.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
would-
blame him in the least.
No, no. He's had enough.
Yes.
That makes a lot
Cool,
more sense.
sandy places are fine.
Right.
Like Michigan.
Yeah. Yep.
Places without salt and places with Petoskey stones.
Yes.
Sounds like.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Wow. Okay, so you grew up in Michigan, grew up on a farm. What was that like? Did you guys have a lot of animals, or were you more like crop farmers? What was that like growing up on a farm?
So we did both. We actually had a pretty large dairy farm and did cash crops. And then when I was 14, my dad left the dairy farm that we were part of, and we just started doing beef cattle and cash crops. So we did all of the above, covered a lot of different areas, but it was a really good experience, like a really good way to grow up.
You grew up north of Grand Rapids? Where? What town?
The closest towns would be Truefant and Sand Lake.
Yeah.
We were like in the
Yeah.
middle of those.
Okay.
So
Yep.
nowhere, well, Coral, I guess, would be closer.
Yep.
But
Yep. I live up in Stanwood, so.
yes, we are just south of the Montcalm County line.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. I know exactly where you were.
And my mom still has that farm,
Oh, wow.
which is fun because I get to take my son out there and he's in love with the farm life.
Oh, and all the free space. And
Yes, the cows, the tractors.
Oh,
His
yeah.
best life is at the farm.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
How old is he now?
He is just over a year and a half.
A year and a half old. And is he walking?
Oh, he's running.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He's that
People
kind of
think
boy.
he's older because he's very big.
Yep.
And he speaks very well, and he likes to run places. So everyone assumes he's like 2.5,
Yeah.
but no,
That's awesome.
still a little baby.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to like corral, isn't he?
Already is. He can outrun me, so he's pretty good.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on him. It's going to keep you busy.
He does. He does. He's an adventure for sure.
Oh, yeah. They're
Oh my
fun.
gosh, how exciting. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps you on your toes, right? Never a dull moment.
People ask if you go to the gym, and I'm like, no, I have a toddler.
Right.
No, you
Like,
don't
that's
need to go to
weightlifting
the,
I
and
just
running
chased my
and-
son, that's it.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's really cool. So then, grew up in Michigan. Did you go to school here and get your teaching degree, or what did that look like for you?
No, I went to school in Virginia. I went to Liberty University.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Yep. I went there for my bachelor's. I actually went and worked for their admissions department after I graduated because I wasn't sure if I wanted to move back right away, what I wanted to do, or if I wanted to get a master's right away. Should have probably done that, but I waited 10 years. And then I went to Western Governors University Online.
Nice.
Would
Okay.
highly recommend them to anybody looking for, an additional degree. But they were a really good school and really flexible.
That's awesome. So you have your master's now.
I do. I just finished it last July.
In what?
Curriculum and instruction.
Curriculum and instruction. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
hopefully
awesome.
that'll lead to maybe a little bit different role in education someday.
Yeah,
or open some
right.
doors where I can write some more curriculum that I can teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in a virtual environment,
I know.
there's really kind of a need for that. I
Mhm.
mean, you can use your skill set and help improve the curriculum options for students.
That's definitely what I'm hoping to do because
That's
I always
great.
feel like the social studies classes are very base level
Mm-hmm.
and nobody's really looking at those. We're always looking at math classes, which kids need to improve in, and
Yeah.
English classes, but you know, if you are using social studies well, you're also developing those skills.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah.
I've done, at one of my previous schools, I wrote a reading for social studies curriculum and got to teach that. So I think we could implement a lot of really cool things maybe down the road in the future.
That's awesome. Good for you.
That's super exciting. And there's probably room
Congratulations.
to like do some diversity pieces in there too. I
Yes.
feel like I hear that a lot in terms about social studies curriculum
Yes.
sometimes in terms of like what the narrative is and how
Mm.
pieces get left out in
Yes.
stories. So there's probably a lot of room to diversify
Yes.
and get a little more creative with it maybe. I don't know.
Yep. And it's super fun to do that because I have taught some society and film classes like, oh, this is the film that you know the story based on. What's the real story and where do we get the real information?
You just
my gosh.
entered Jackie's world.
Can I sign up for your class when you teach that, please?
Let me know when we can offer it.
That
all
is
about that.
Jackie's
Yeah.
life right there.
That would be really fun.
That's
oh my
cool.
gosh, cool.
But it's definitely true. Like we only hear a certain element of every story.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right, one narrative.
yeah, it's cool
Oh,
to
yeah.
open up kids' eyes that there are different elements to every story and not
Mhm.
just what they think they know.
Right.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, that's super exciting. Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to taking your class in the future.
There you go.
Okay, so Michigan to Virginia to Florida
Florida.
then.
Yep.
And was the pull the nice warm weather there, or
Or the
did you
boy.
hear about the, yeah.
Oh no, my husband actually grew up in Michigan too.
Oh.
We actually have known each other for 20 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dating
go to
myself a little bit, but
Did you go to school together? Then?
I actually played basketball with his sisters.
Okay.
So we played in the same league, and he played. Well, his little brother played with my little brother.
Oh
So
wow.
we knew each
Okay.
other like through that family connection.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Very cool.
No, I did not go to Florida for anybody. I had some friends that had moved down there after college, and they were like, "Come teach down here. It's great."
Yeah.
And it was super fun.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't home. You know, there's nowhere quite like home
Right.
Yeah.
and the people that know you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's
What
worth
did you
giving it up.
What did you teach when you were down there? What subjects? Social
I
studies?
taught social studies. I taught a couple different grade sets. I
Okay.
taught middle school 1 year
Okay.
and was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's a hard age emotionally for kids.
Oh yeah.
Because some of them are very mature and they want to be treated like adults, and some of them are not ready to be treated like adults in that, like, even academic responsibility.
Yeah.
And they want you to hold their hand and help them more. So being able to balance that, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I love this. I need a little bit older grades. So then I moved out and taught ninth and 10th grade.
Okay.
Like U.S. history, honors history. Got to teach some tech classes.
Cool.
Like basic computer skills. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What led you to become a teacher?
I was going to be a lawyer. And I
Really?
was pretty set on that. And I was in my third year of college. And I had some requirements to meet for general studies. And one of those was a geography class or a world history class. And I chose a geography class. And the professor I had was Robert Ritchie, retired from the military, fabulous guy. They call him Captain Geo because he's that great at geography. And he
Love that.
sat me down one day and said, you know, I think you need to think about being a teacher. Like, after some of the presentations you've done in my class, like, you love the subject, you need to think about it.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, I never thought about being a teacher. My mom was a teacher, so I wasn't going to be a teacher.
Oh, okay.
And he really made me reconsider what my life should be and
Huh.
like where I could give back. You know, the law career was not based on me being able to help people. it was just something I found interesting. So he told me, why don't you think about teaching? And you could teach like principles of law in high school. He said, if that's where your interests lie, don't go spend 14 hours a day in an office. Think about spending it in a classroom.
Wow.
So then I switched my major, so I got to spend an extra year in my bachelor's, but it was definitely worth it.
So somebody took an interest in you and really said you've got this skill set and you would be really good at this and believed in you, and that changed your trajectory in life.
It did,
Wow.
very much so.
Wow.
He was a great professor, but also somebody I really consider a friend.
Yeah.
Like, he's kept in touch and mentored me throughout the years, not only in my college career, but he's checked in several times, probably a couple times a year afterwards, like, how are you doing? How's your family? How's your career? Do you need help with anything that I can help you with? So he's just
That's great.
a great example of a phenomenal educator.
Yeah.
It's amazing how one influential person in your life can really totally change your trajectory.
Yes.
Yeah,
just
crazy.
based off of a single conversation.
And it was
It's
just,
powerful.
you never noticed who's observing you, I think, in life,
Yeah.
because, somebody who had 1,000 students would pull you aside and say, hey, this is what I've seen. And you're like, oh, you actually noticed something. And it stood out enough for you to take the time to have a conversation when you know that individual's busy. And I see that with our kids a lot too, when they think nobody's looking, and you can sit down and say, hey, I noticed you did this. That was phenomenal. And it just changes their whole attitude about being at school.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty cool. One girl, I told her, I thought she wrote a great essay, and that
Yeah.
was such a well-written piece of work. And she said, nobody's ever told me I did a good job before. And she was 19, or she might have just turned 20, and she was in tears. And I was like,
Wow.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry, but it was well written, and it, one of those where you're like, oh, it might be plagiarized, let me check it, and it was 100% her work, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, great job.
Oh, that's so good.
And you're like, I wasn't trying to make you cry. It was a genuine,
Yeah.
good job, but it's crazy that nobody tells kids that anymore.
Wow.
Like,
Isn't
how
that
do you have
sad?
nobody to tell you? So it's fun to be
Yeah.
the person,
Yes. Maybe
That's
to
really
change
important.
somebody's trajectory.
right? Just to tell them they can do good things.
Yeah.
Like, it's important to know, as,
That's right.
as a human, it's important to know you can do good things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that other people will see those good things.
Yeah.
So what kind of changing directions here? What gets you out of bed in the morning? I mean, we've
My
talked about it
toddler.
Yeah, you can't
Every
stand
day.
that. There's
True.
just no way.
Yes.
You're getting
Yes.
out. Whether you want to or not, you're getting out.
Yes. The sweetest little mama. Mama. He's a happy morning child.
Oh, those are the best kind.
It throws me off because I'm not a morning person. I'm like, let me sleep, let me have my coffee. And he gets me up every day.
Yeah. Get up, mama.
Yep. Play. He always wants to play.
Play. Yeah.
Usually with tractors. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's going to be a farmer when he grows up, I'm fairly convinced, because he's
Well.
up at the crack of dawn every day and ready to farm.
Love that.
That's awesome.
Yup.
World needs more farmers. That's
Yeah.
a good
It
thing.
does.
Yeah.
It does. And
That's
he
right.
loves it already.
Oh, wow. That's
Wow.
amazing. What would you say you're most proud of in your professional life?
Oh my goodness. Recently, probably getting a master's while I had a baby.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I had my son, and then I went back to school 3 months later. So I should not have put it off. It was quite a challenge.
But you were working full time too, right?
I was, and then
Yeah.
I did a 2.5-year program in 11 months.
Wow.
So I did a lot of work really fast because as he got older, I noticed it got harder every month
Yeah.
because he got busier and busier. So
Yeah.
just being able to have, the family support. My husband's phenomenal.
Oh,
He would always
that's great.
say, "We'll go play. You can sit down and do work." And just
good.
the late nights and everything were definitely worth it. But
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
I wouldn't recommend anybody else wait. If you have the chance to do it sooner,
Yeah.
do it before kids and
Yeah.
before life gets crazier.
No kidding.
But
Wow.
what a great, you could probably bring a lot of that back to work and your conversations with kids in terms of time management and
Perseverance.
yeah, exactly. Having a support system and what that looks like for you and managing work, family, and your masters. So
And
That's really great.
a lot of times I have kids tell me, well, it's just me and my baby. And I can say, well, my husband was gone for several months out of that year
Yeah.
due to Army obligations. So it was me and the baby. So what I did is when that baby went to sleep, I stayed up and worked. You can do it. If I can do it, and I'm old, you can do it.
You got a lot more energy than me.
That's like, I promise you can do it.
That's awesome.
But it's good to just have a relatable piece of, hey, I did this online too.
Right.
You know, I understand.
That's right.
I had to check in with a teacher every week too. I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand working full time. I understand all the little factors that sometimes they try and use as barriers. That telling them, if I can do it, you can do it.
That's great.
Because you have me, and I can help you.
That's right, and I've been through it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll be your support network.
Yes.
That's super valuable.
That's great.
It's kind of fun to have a real relatable instead of a just, you can do it. Like, let me tell you how you can do it.
Right.
Because let me tell you how to overcome these different obstacles is helpful.
Yeah. And I bet that's super valuable for the students too. I bet they really appreciate that because it's not just, it means a lot more when someone who's gone through something is also talking you through it as well.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
bet they really relate to that and appreciate the advice you give.
Sometimes they're very happy and sometimes they're like, oh, that was my favorite excuse. Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean you did that? Okay.
Can't use that anymore.
Right.
Darn.
It's pretty funny because sometimes it's a very lopsided, but usually it's very positive no matter how they initially react. And eventually it's like, oh, okay, well, I think you might be right. I can probably do it.
Right.
Like, oh, I know you can. Trust me.
That's good. So you mentioned the military a few times, and if I remember correctly, you're also, so your husband's involved and you're involved, right?
Yes.
Oh.
So my husband was active duty for several years, and now he's a reservist.
Okay.
I am just a reservist, so I do about 3 days a month. That's definitely a route most kids could choose to if they want, you know,
Yeah.
education, to travel the world,
Oh,
to
yeah.
learn a trade.
Yeah.
The military will train you in anything you want to be trained in as long as you have those test scores to qualify you.
That's exactly right.
So, but they'll give you lots of opportunities to move into different jobs and try out different things and train you on them.
Yeah.
So-
What a great opportunity for kids.
Right. I mean,
That's
it transitions really well into the civilian world.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So what prompted you to join the reserves?
My little brother was going to join the military, and I said, oh, no, you don't. Not without me. That is not happening. Because if you're going to be somewhere, I'm going to be able to come get you. Because he was my baby. He's 7 years younger than me. And he actually got hurt while he was training. So he is out of the military now.
Okay.
I said that must have been his plan all along. Sucker me in.
Get you in.
Right.
Yeah.
But we both had decided that every generation of our family had served. And we didn't want to have a generation that did not.
Oh, wow.
So somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you're not going without me, so let's do it.
That's awesome.
So we did.
Man, you are a really hardworking person.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of things going on.
I like to attribute that to the farm life, growing up, being taught values of hard work and the benefits that can come with that.
Yeah.
And my family was very hardworking, and I think probably when I was like a little bit later teenager, I realized that it was abnormal,
Yeah.
and it wasn't necessarily everybody's lifestyle,
No.
and it just made me really appreciate it more.
So you mentioned hard work, and you feel like you really learned the value of that, and probably a lot of other values as well between the farm life and being part of the reserves and things like that. What would you say, like, do you have a life motto or maybe a quote that you kind of live by, or a mantra?
One of my favorite quotes that I heard is, reach for the horizon, and then you'll always be moving beyond it, because you're never going to catch the horizon.
Right.
So if you're always moving that direction, you're always moving forward. And it's paraphrased, so I'm sure it's a real quote from somebody that I'm butchering, but
We're going to attribute it to Laura McCarthy.
you're welcome. But just, no matter what, just keep moving forward. I've had a lot of really difficult situations in my life that's you don't have a choice. And that's once you realize that, I think, you don't have a choice to stop. Then you look at the world a little differently. And you don't try to stop.
Right.
I think a lot of times people dig their heels in and say, this is my breaking point, or this is where I'm not going to move forward from, because I liked what was behind me. But if you do that, you never know what's actually ahead. So if you move forward, there could be way better things or just different things ahead that you didn't know you would appreciate that much or enjoy the experience that much of.
Well, to wrap things up, Chris, do you want to
I
ask
do.
your famous last
Although
question?
I think she might, I don't know, we'll see what her answer might be. So, what I always like to ask, and this isn't a complicated question, is what do you do for fun? And I know you have a toddler, so you play with your toddler right now, but what do you do as a family for fun? When you get together?
I am really into the outdoors.
Oh,
so
cool.
It obviously not as much in probably the last year and a half, but we like to take our son fishing. He
Nice.
hasn't been hunting yet, but we're
It's only
a very
1.5.
right. We were going to take him out this year deer hunting,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it was a
cool.
little cold.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we didn't
Right.
get him out, but I love to kayak, be on the water.
Oh,
But fishing is like
yeah.
my love.
Okay.
So-
where do you like to fish?
Where?
Yeah.
Any of the thousands of lakes nearby.
Okay.
So my husband's parents actually live on a lake, so they're kind of a nice go-to, easy
Yeah.
spot to fish.
Yeah. And kayak, probably.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is quite handy. We're hoping this summer to get
Yeah.
our son out on the kayak. He's been canoeing,
Oh, nice.
so that's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
We also have a cabin that's in his family up in Hersey, so
Yep.
off the river, and fish that a lot.
Nice.
I'll fish wherever I have time.
Yeah. Do you hunt on the farm?
Yes, we do.
Oh, I bet you do. Yeah.
And we actually
There's
just
some nice deer up there.
yeah, we bought a house a month and a half ago, and
Oh
it
my
has
gosh,
a few
congrats.
acres with it. So we're hoping to hunt our own land this fall.
Nice.
Yeah,
Does
we'll
your-
see.
Do you bow hunt or rifle?
Both.
Oh, yeah. Good. Me too.
That's the dispute of our household is traditional archery. I hunt with a
Oh,
compound bow, and my
okay.
husband hunts
Recurve.
with a recurve. Yes,
Ah, yeah.
but I do not have that skill,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I hunt with a compound bow.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our
Me too.
the joke of our life of
You take advantage of technology, and he doesn't.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I know my skill limits.
I think I like to call it working smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's
Me too. I won't tell him that though. It's okay.
No.
He doesn't have to know.
Right.
Right. Wow, that's really interesting. Good for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, Laura, to talk with us. We really appreciate it. We loved
Yeah.
hearing about your story.
Thanks, guys. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, I learned a lot about you.
Oh, I know. Don't tell anybody all this information.
Oh,
It's not going
okay.
anywhere,
No.
right?
No,
not
it
gonna
won't
put it
be
anywhere, no
Public and announced over the internet or anything.